5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. And how are you guys doing on this lovely rainy Thursday evening? I don't know what the fuck is going on in the Metro Atlanta area. We just had like really beautiful sunny weather, very hot sunny weather, and now like the heavens fell out and buckets of like rain just came out of nowhere, and like lightning and thundering and oh my goodness, and like severe thunder watches and everything. So I hope that you guys are having a very good evening tonight. So for those that are new to this lovely podcast, I would like to say welcome to this shit show called Tickle Lounge, and welcome to the shit show crazy ass family of Tickle Lounge. I am your Lone Ranger host. My name is Sweet Piggy. Nice to meet you. And thank you for checking out my podcast. If this is like the first time, whether you are watching me or you're listening to me, it doesn't really matter. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. And Norma fam, you know that we're fucked up in the head. So thank you for keep joining in and keep supporting me. So for those that are new, there are different ways of interacting with this shit show podcast called Tickle Lounge. Number one is going on the Tickle Lounge Facebook page. So I think it's like facebook.com, little slashy thingy, Tickle Lounge. That's one way that you can interact there and see all the old episodes and watch and whatnot. You can also interact with the Tickle Lounge page on FetLife. So if you don't know what FetLife is basically a Facebook for all the different fetishes, from very, very soft and like, oh, that's so cute, to like, motherfucker, what type of fetishes. And they have a group page, and that's where you will find all my old podcasts as well there. And another way you can contact with the page is through my personal pages on Facebook, which is Sweet Piggy. I think that's my handle. I don't know. Just put in Sweet Piggy Jones and I think it will pop up on Facebook, or you can follow along with me on Twitter, which I think is Sweet Piggy 666. I don't know, right? My Anna just put on Sweet Piggy for Twitter. So those are the different ways that you can follow the show and follow me, that I post about my podcast and whatever like that. So before we get into the lovely topic today, let me tell you guys about the shit show of a week that I've had. So, which is kind of what kind of ties into what we are talking about today, which today's topic about safety over the internet. Yes, that is what we're talking about. So if you're a little bit confused, like, I don't get it, Sweet. What do you mean safety over the internet? What does that even fucking mean? So what that means is, like, let's just be honest. The likelihood of you running into somebody on a regular basis that has the same fetish as you is like pretty low, unless you go to like a BDSM convention, or you go to a munch, which is just like a fancy term for that. You go out to lunch or dinner with people that have different fetishes, and you meet them and you talk with them in your area. So unless you're doing all that shit, you most likely are going to meet people online. That's just how the rules of the game works when you're in the BDSM community. And yes, tickling is part of the BDSM community. Don't come at me. It is. Okay. So that's how you meet people in the fetish, kink, BDSM community, is mainly through online. So this whole segment is about like meeting people and how to be safe. And so you don't get your ass killed and chopped up in little pieces and be fed to the pigs that they can't find your body. How to be safe on the internet. So today, well, I got a message from a young man that I played with way back in the day. Way back in the day. Like when I was like in my early 20s. Yes, I am a lovely 37 young. I know I don't look it, thank you. But when I was in my early 20s, I played with this one guy that was he was either 17 or 18. I don't remember. He was turning 18. He was already 18, some shit like that. He was an adult, okay? And we played back in Tampa, and we played like 1 or 2 times and whatnot. And supposedly Time passed and everything, and he was in the Atlanta metro area, because that's where I live. I live in the Atlanta metro area. I don't live in Atlanta. I live in the metro Atlanta area. Get it straight, guys, on the internet. And so he was going to be in watching a dumb Braves game, because people here like sports. I am a nerd. We don't do sports when you're a nerd. And so he was supposed to meet up with me because he wanted to catch up and everything else like that. However, he never confirmed that he was going to meet me. So we never met, which we're going to be talking about. Like, that's one of the safety measures. Don't fucking meet people, y'all, if they don't fucking confirm. But we're going to go in detail about that. And then I was talking to this man. His name is Grimace Green, whatever the fuck his name is. It's on my Instagram page. He wanted to buy custom videos for me and shit like that, but his request was off the wall, just off the wall, which I will talk about in the safety over the internet, y'all. If you are talking to somebody and what they're requesting you is shit that you don't want to do or sound a little bit off the wall crazy, you can decline that shit. Like, you don't want to do anything you don't want to do. And don't allow anyone to fucking gaslight you into doing something that you don't want to do. And their fucked up fantasy that they have is just shit. Okay. It's just weird as fuck. Okay, don't allow people to do that. So this guy wanted me to do all this stuff, wear really tight clothes, but all long sleeve. Motherfucker, who wears long sleeve shit when you are getting tickled? Nobody. Once again, this is like in the cute fucking videos. Your tickle porn videos are not real life and shit like that. I am not going to dehydrate my ass just to satisfy you. I'm not doing that. So he didn't like that. Then and then he wanted me, because I told him, like, I'm not going to be able to have a session with, like, I'm not going to be able to record the session until like November. And so then he's like, well, I want to use vibrators, and I want you to go out and buy 5 vibrators so that you can put them on your body and tickle you. Yo, no one is going to go to a fucking sex store and buy fucking vibrators at a fucking sex store. No one's going to fucking do that. So I told him, like, not going to do it. And then he tried to gaslight me, saying, like, oh, well, I think this community's messed up, and no, I got scammed, and y'all don't do what I want you to do. And I was like, because of the fucking shit that you request. No one's gonna do that shit. And then he wants to combat, like, well, I bought over 25 videos, so some people do it. I don't like that you judge me. No, motherfucker, that's a fucking lie. Because if you really had 25 people that you had do this for, then you would have fucking stayed with them and not come over on my page and ask me this ridiculous shit. Okay, so once again, don't let people gaslight you in the shit that you don't want to do, and try to make you feel bad, because just block them and say the fuck off, and just go about your day. So that's my week. So let's go into the topic. And once again, you can find the topic on all the different ways that I said in the very beginning. I'm not going to repeat myself again, but all the different ways you can find it. Because I love your input. That's the one thing I love, is about you guys get my input, but I also get your input, because we can all learn from one another. That is the most important thing, that we all learn from each other. So I guess y'all didn't fucking like the topic, because none of y'all asked to say anything except for the FetLife group. So the FetLife group said something, but nobody else said nothing on my other pages. So I'm gonna look on my phone. Oh, excuse me, for what the responses is, and I got 4 responses. So this is what I wrote on all the other pages. I'm like, new topic for Tickle Lounge is safety over the internet. How do you make sure you are safe when you are talking to strangers on the internet? How do you know if you are talking to a minor? Ooh, we're going to talk about that. What are your tips for meeting and talking to people in the tickle/fetish world? Can't wait to hear your thoughts and or advice. So we have X Jezebel Lee that says, love this topic. Personally, I've always refused to play on the first meet. I may consider doing so if it's a paid session, but LOL, nobody wants that from me. I always meet up for coffee or a drink and a chat first. Smart. They're smart. Partly for safety, but also just to see if the vibe is good. Amen, sister. Amen. Okay, so I don't want to go into a session where it's just awkward. Thank you. Because motherfucking, I have done those sessions when I was younger. Motherfucking, it's awful. And awkward as shit. The session's not that good and it's awkward as hell. If someone refuses to meet for a vanilla hangout first, it is a red flag in my opinion. Amen, it is. And that's when you get the fuck out of there. You don't talk to their asses anymore. Okay. I've also stopped giving out my personal vanilla social medias, Facebook, Snapchat, etc., and make sure my privacy settings are on those are high as possible. I've always made sure that any pics that could potentially identify me were private, and I am more careful about what I post on kink sites. I mostly amped up the privacy because I started creating fetish content, but I think these are good habits to have regardless. As for minors, I try to avoid spaces where a lot of them openly hang out at, but it's tricky. Most of the sites used are labeled 18 plus, so I guess I just give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But if I do get suspicious of someone being a minor, I block and or stop talking to them. That is a great advice. Thank you, Jezebel Lee. Now we have Ninja Tights 91 that says, I start by stating my boundary. Yes, boundaries, y'all. Boundaries is so fucking important when you are engaging with people on the internet and just in regular life too, not only in like your kink life, but also in your vanilla white life as well. Putting boundaries up is not a bad thing. Motherfucking people disrespecting and crossing your boundaries is what's dumb and disrespectful and all bunch of red flags going, sirens, everything. So to begin with, I don't tickle anyone under 21 and over anyone under 21 / and over 18, obviously. It grosses me out and I tell them that. See, we're gonna talk about that, y'all. We're gonna talk about that. Everybody has their own preference because some of you guys are like, that is so messed up that they won't play with someone underneath 21. Yeah, we have our reasons for that. And we'll go into that. If I'm being completely honest, I don't even feel comfortable talking about kink with anyone under that age either. The other thing I do is check their profile or profiles on any socials they're linked. If they haven't displayed their age or have a clear picture of them, their account isn't very old and they don't have any justifiable reason to obscure themselves. For example, many women hide that information because they're more vulnerable to harassment in the kink community. It raises a red flag. The last thing I do is just ask. I'll be polite and tell them straightforward that I'm trying to practice internet safety, and many respect that. When I start talking with someone, I mostly focus on small talk and keep the fetish stuff pretty basic until I meet them. If they message me and skip straight to the kinky stuff or can't hold a conversation about themselves, it's a red flag. This is what all you motherfuckers are doing wrong. I'm going to tell you right there. Ninja Tights 91 hit that shit on the nail. Y'all come out the fucking gate talking about kinky stuff and everything else like that. And I'm just like, that's such a red flag for people like me that been into this community for a long time. I'm like, if you can't hold a basic conversation with me, what makes you think I'm gonna fucking have a session with you? And you guys just don't understand that. I understand that you guys are all excited about potentially having a session. I tell everybody that if you're going and try to have a session with somebody, you treat it like it's a fucking first date with somebody. Do you immediately go into like, hey, how do you fuck? Like, do you do that? I mean, maybe some of y'all do that shit on a first date or whatever, but I know I don't. I know that the guys, hold on, wait just a minute. I'm thinking, yes, there have been some disgusting American men that actually ask about sex and stuff on like the first date and when can they hit it and shit like that. Those are the ones you don't have a second date with, and you be like, check please, check over here, I'm out. You don't do that shit because that is like raising red flags and you're not going to get anything. So treat it like it is a first date. You're trying to make a good impression. I'm sorry. Wait. Okay, there we go. The other reason I do this though is because younger people usually sound like younger people. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Young people, you guys give away that you guys are fucking young. I'm sorry. Your demeanor and the way that you guys act online gives it straight off that you guys are fucking young or that you are fucking minor. Especially so when talking about themselves, like they don't have the confidence, the swagger, the headspace, or the perspective of someone who's been around the planet for longer than they have. And after an extended conversation, that becomes apparent. Yeah, y'all do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, young grasshoppers, but y'all do. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to be young. It really is, but maybe not come off as naive. Maybe that's what we're talking about. You guys, a lot of young people come off as so naive. Like even when I was in my early 20s, or in my teens, in my late teens, like 18 to like 22, I've been through some shit. People that know me personally and my vanilla life know that I've been through some shit. So that made me grow up faster than I needed to. So I did not act like the stereotypical dumbass, naive little 18 to 22-year-old person. I actually acted like more mature for my age, which is hence why I was able to date like older men because they saw like, wow, you're really mature for a 19, 18-year-old. Yes, I dated 30-year-old men and stuff like that when I was like 18, 19-year-old. Yes, it was that bad to do, not recommend it, but I did it because I didn't like the men in my own age because they were immature. So, but we digress. Then Ninja Tights go in to say, as for in-person meetings, I keep them public at first. Yes. I don't mind having a session if I've already spoken with them for several weeks and we meet in person prior to the session, but it will be tame. Like I just kick up my feet for them to tickle for a set amount of time. And if they're young, I ID them mandatory. That's very good. Two very good advice. Okay, now we're going to FT Tickler and he at symbol Jezebel Lee. I agree with you totally on the vanilla first meet thingy. I thought I was the only one that says thingy. There are one or two friends on FL, which that stands for FetLife. I've known for years, but when meeting someone new, better safe than sorry, and see if your personality match. That's another reason why we meet in fucking person. So stop trying to avoid meeting in person, people. That's a dead giveaway. That's a dead red flag. We're gonna be like, no. Plus, whoever I eventually play with, and it's been a while, I want them to feel safe, and I want me to feel safe. A 95-pound woman can still be an axe murderer. Yes, y'all didn't see that movie with Scarlet Witch in it. I forgot the actress name. The actress name that plays Scarlet Witch, and she chopped up that woman because she was having an affair with her husband. That show on Showtime that they were doing the documentary about the woman that chopped up the woman with the axe, and she was like really skinny and everything. Yeah. Bitches are crazy. Everybody's crazy. I don't doubt anybody. Anyone's fucking crazy nowadays, especially the society that we live in. Everybody is motherfucking crazy. Bitches are crazy. Motherfuckers are crazy. Bastards are crazy. Everybody's fucking crazy now, except for dogs. Dogs are amazing creatures and they will never be crazy. Okay. And then we have the last advice, which is Ravens fan 52. Great to have you back. Thank you. Great to be back. It's a vibe thing. Amen to that. I like to have a bunch of in-depth combo online first, then meet in public before playing. I also highly recommend have another person call you at a certain time just to check on you. Make sure that person that calls you knows exactly where you are so they can alert the police if you don't answer or if you give them a panic word. It's a lot, but you got to be safe. Personally, I prefer to meet people at gatherings these days. I don't blame you. Okay, so those are the advice that these lovely four people took the time to write in. So let Sweet give you her personal opinion and her personal experience in this realm and how I stayed safe over the internet since I've been doing this. Oh my goodness. I've been doing this thing, y'all, since I was 18 years old. So for those that do not know who I am, I'm basically, I guess you can say former slash combat. I don't know. I got into the kink very early in life. I started looking at fetish content when I was 9 years old, y'all. So from the time of 9 years up until right now, of the beautiful young age of 37, I've been looking at BDSM and ticklish content for all those years. I didn't start playing until I was 18. However, I've been talking to grown ass men for since I was 9 years old. So since I was 9 years old, I've been talking to men. Is that fucked up? Yes. Is that wrong? Hell yeah, it's wrong. But at the time I was like, you know what? Um, I want to do what I want to do. So I can tell you the things that young people do under the age of 18 that do to talk to people and whatever like that. Number one, when you are talking to somebody online, I will always request for a picture of some sort. Yes, and I'm being seriously honest. When not in the straight up beginning, not at the fucking beginning, but I would, when, if you want to have a session with me, I gotta know what you look like. Okay. And if someone is not willing to show you what they look like, they're like, oh, I'm really scared. I don't like to show my face on the internet. I'm like, you're not showing your face on the fucking internet. You're showing your face in a one-to-one conversation, either on Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Twitter, or whatever you're using to contact the person and whatever like that. If they don't show their face, red flag, like hang up the conversation if you're not really hanging up the conversation, exit the conversation, block them, and don't talk to them anymore. If a person cannot show you what they look like in a current picture, that is a red flag. That is something that I think that a lot of people don't understand, is that how young people get away with stuff. And when they do show you a picture, check that picture, because guess what I used to do? I used to go right to the Dollar Tree and get the pictures in the frame, and I will use that as my picture. Guess what? This is how you check that. Face video chat thingy. So video chat. We are now in the technology now that we can do that. Back when I was doing this back in the late 90s, early 2000s, yeah, in the 2000s, we didn't really have FaceTime and all that other devices like we got now right now. So it was easy for me to get away with that. If I was trying to do this now, I'll be fucked up. 'Cause I was like, shit. And so yeah, I would definitely be like fucking shit. Like now, because of the new technology now, always ask to FaceTime an individual. If they are against that, do not play with them. Do not play with them. They're either a minor or they're hiding something. Either a minor, they're married and they don't want their significant other to know what the shit's going on, which you don't want to fucking get involved with, which, oh my God. So yes. Do not play with a person if they would not show their picture, and they would not if they would not be able to FaceTime you. So sorry, my ex-husband is texting me because he does not know how to take care of our fucking child. Oh, my fucking son. So yes. those are two things. Number one, always ask for a picture and always do a video chat. Those are how you protect yourself on the internet. Here's another way how to protect yourself on the internet. I agree with all the 4 advices. If someone cannot have a conversation with you that is not involving kink-like things, do not talk to them, because that to me lets me know that there's something not right with you, and I don't know how you're going to act in having a session with me. If you can't talk about anything else, and if you are so driven by your fetish, what are you driven to do to me during a session? That is what I'm thinking as a female. And I want you to think of this as a male, because once again, just because you guys are men does not mean that nothing bad can happen to you guys. When you're strapped down on that bed or chair or whatever you're strapped down to, anybody can do anything they fucking want to you. So if you can't have a fucking conversation with me and I'm allowing your ass to tie me down to something, we have a serious fucking problem. Okay. So if they cannot hold a conversation about anything else, then red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, stop. Don't collect $200, do not go past, just leave it alone and just like go about your time. That's the reason why I don't really engage with a lot of people, because every single day I get people contacting me asking like, hey, can I have a session with you? Can I have a session with you? Can I have a session with you? And what I do is I indulge them, because I know that this motherfucker is just going to talk all about the fetish and nothing else. And that's exactly what all you guys do. That's all you guys do, is just mainly just talk about the fetish and nothing else. Now, when I was younger, I didn't give a damn. Because when I was younger, I was all about, I want to play. That's all I want to do. And I don't give a damn about anything else. And that's what led me to, yes, I got a lot of sessions, but some of them weren't all that great. My sessions that were really good was when I had better conversation and I actually connected more with the person. That's what made my sessions better. Instead of just like going off of like, ooh, warm body, let's go and play. That's how I was in the beginning. And I understand if you guys are like that, but you guys got to learn to do self-control. You have to like put it on check, because self-control is really, really important in the fetish community. You cannot let this fetish control you. You have to control the fetish. And a lot of you guys allow the fetish to control you. And that's the reason why you come off as creepy as fuck and really psycho or whatever like that, because you allow your fetish and your fantasy to control you instead of you controlling it. A lot of you guys don't have any self-control over your fetish. And when you guys meet somebody that actually has the same fetish as you guys don't know how to act. Like, no, you guys cannot do that. You got to put yourself in check. And at all times, like, put yourself in check. You need to have self-control, because that is very, very, very important to have. So what I do when I'm having a conversation with somebody, I ask about like, so tell me what you do. What do you do for work? Tell me what you like, what you dislike. These are general conversations I get to know people. If you can't fucking tell me what you like and what you dislike, we have a problem. I'm like, If you just tell me like, I like tickling and I like feet. Okay, what do you like besides in the fetish community? If you can't tell a person that, you ain't getting no play. Because once again, it's showing you have no self-control. It's all about the fetish, and I am just a fucking body to you instead of an actual real person. Nobody wants to feel being used and actually feel like a fucking body, especially women. So men, I don't know how you guys feel about that. For women, no, we do not, because in a regular basis, in regular society, we are deemed as objects and items. So I don't want to be viewed once again as a object or item to you. And this is a reason why a lot of women do not come out in the fetish community, in the tickling community because a lot of you guys treat women like objects because you guys can't fucking control your fetish. Like, that's really what it is. And if you have more self-control, you guys will get more sessions. It's really that easy. It's not that fucking hard. So engage in conversation with somebody. Ask them about what they like to do. Do they have any plans for this weekend? What type of music they like, what type of books do you read, and everything else like that. If you get really short answers from people, y'all, red flag, don't talk to them. Because I notice that people will give, when I'm asking these questions, they're like, football, mystery, fantasy. I'm not talking to you because you're not engaging. You're just answering questions because you think that's what I want to hear so that you can have a session. Once again, still treating me like I'm a fucking object. You're like, well, I'm just gonna jump through her hoop so I can get what I want from her. Yep, and Sweet doesn't play like that. So no, I don't play like that. One and like Ninja Tight Set, like set boundaries. I'm all about setting boundaries. I'm so for setting boundaries. One of my boundaries is that I don't play with anybody in a fucking relationship. If someone tells you their boundaries and you try to manipulate and try to convince them to change their fucking boundaries, you're a shitty person. Okay, number one, you're just a shitty person. Don't ever try to change anyone's boundaries. You either respect it and just go off. If the boundaries don't match yours, just say thank you for your time. Obviously, this is not going to work out because it obviously is not going to work out, but I wish you the best of luck. And exit out like a real man or a real woman. Like, don't try to convince them of their boundaries and try to cross them and everything like that. Like, what kind of shit is that? You're a shitty person. Like, really, you are. And that is gaslighting like a motherfucker. Like, don't do that. Like, when someone sets a boundary, for example, one of my also boundaries is I don't fuck during any of my sessions. I don't do anything sexual in any session that I have, no matter what the scene, play, kink is, or whatever like that I'm doing with a person, because I have multiple fetishes. That's why I'm a fetishist, because I have multiple fetishes. Just tickling is at the top of them. I don't fuck anybody during having a session or play or a scene with anybody. I don't do oral to anybody or have them do oral to me. I don't do that during my sessions. I really don't. That is a boundary that I have. Don't fucking try to convince me that I need to fuck you or you need to be fucked during a session. Yeah, creepy as F. That means like motherfucker's going to fucking rape me. I was like, if I have a session with him because he's already trying to convince me to fuck him. I was like, no, I ain't playing with you because you're going to rape me. No. If someone has a boundary, either accept it and move on or come on board with their boundary. That's all it is. That's all that it is. So if someone has a boundary like mine is, like there is no sex whatsoever, or someone said like I will be fully clothed during it, and you're like, well, I want them to be naked. Okay, that is what you want, but this young lady or young man said that they want to be clothed. That means that you guys are not going to have a good session unless you are willing to play with somebody that is willing to I have no idea what just happened. My lights just flickered on. I guess it's a storm. That you see, it did it again. Motherfucker, the storm. Okay, so that's really important, is that you need to understand that people have boundaries, point blank. And if you can't go along with those boundaries, then don't play with them. Simple as that, y'all. It's not rocket science. Just don't play with them. Okay, so now we know that we're going to make sure they give us a picture. We video chat with them. I like what Jezebel Lee says is that they want to check your social media. What are you fucking hiding, y'all? If you if you don't want to for me to see your social media, I always ask to see their social media to see if you're a real boy or you're a real girl, that is what I'm fucking looking for. That you're not like a fucking AI robot or that you actually exist or something like that. So yeah, I totally do that all the time. I'm like, let me see your social media. If you're not willing to give that up, then don't fucking play with people. Go and get like a prostitute, a prostitute escort, or pay a fetish model then, because normal people, we're not gonna risk our lives or anything like that for free so that you could get what you want. There are sex workers that would do that and everything else like that. So go to them. So I like that one. That is a really good one. Another one that I always tell people to do, and this is something that I started doing when I got into my mid-20s. So, and from the age of 18 to 25, I just was just wilding out. I was just having sessions off the yin yang, which was not safe. And I don't even know how I'm fucking alive because I would not. All the stuff that I was saying to you guys, I did not do from the age of 18 to 25. I did not do that. But then I got a little bit smarter and I learned some shit. And then after that, from 25 onward, I started doing this shit. Always meet somebody before you have a session with, so you can get a good vibe from them. I forgot, I think it was Raven and Feet Tickler that said this, is that you always meet somebody in order to see how they are in person. Because once again, when you meet in person, you can look at that person, look at their eyes, look at their body language to see like, is this motherfucker bullshitting me? And so, and to see their vibe and see how they act and everything else like that. Okay, so I would say that once again, in the meeting of people, here's one thing. Don't fucking touch them unless you have fucking consent. Do not touch the person unless you have consent. I'm gonna say this again. Do not touch a person unless you have fucking consent. Just because you guys are meeting in person, people, men and women, does not give you permission to fucking touch me or to fucking touch another woman or to fucking touch another man unless you have consent from that individual. So you can say like, hey, if we do meet, would you mind if I do like some pokes to you, or do you mind if I give you a hug or anything else like that? Ask beforehand. If the person says no thank you, they have every right to say no. Even if a person says yes, and when they meet you, they don't want you touching them, you don't fucking touch them. You guys understand this? Okay, because some of you guys do not understand that. Like, I have met guys that figure like in the first meeting that figure like, oh, since she shows her feet to everybody and since she shows her videos, I'm allowed to fucking touch her. No, the motherfucker, you're not allowed to fucking touch me. This is my fucking body. Okay, so you are not allowed to touch me unless you have consent to touch me. I don't care if there is a woman on there that is a porn model and you're meeting with her. That doesn't mean you go and you fucking like have sex with her without her consent. You don't fucking do that. You always ask for consent. And a man or woman has the ability to change their mind at any time. And you should respect that boundary. Another reason why a lot of you guys aren't having sessions either, because you guys do not understand consent. And consent is when both parties or multiple parties, depending on how you're playing, but let's say just one-on-one, both parties consent and give permission to something. That is what actually fucking consent is. So if you don't ask for consent and you just do whatever you want to do because like, oh, I want to do what I want to do, and once again, you're not using self fucking control, you're going to get fucking hit. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have punched, kicked, and bitten some of y'all motherfuckers in the past for fucking touching me without consent and without my fucking position. Just because I look really tiny and small does not mean I don't know how to throw a fucking punch. Some of you guys kind of forget that. Well, I guess some of you guys don't know. I grew up half of my life. My dad was in the military. My daddy was in the military, and the other half of my life, my dad retired. We lived in the hood. You don't think I learned how to fight? You don't think my dad taught me how to fucking fight? My dad's from the fucking Caribbean in military. You don't think he taught his daughter how to fucking fight, and you don't think the hood taught me how to fight either? Like, come on, motherfuckers. Now I may not be like a fucking UFC, MMA, kickboxing, boxer type of motherfucker, but oh yeah, I will knock your ass out. And so just because I look really small and I look so cute and adorable that some of you guys say, don't mean that I would not lay my hands on you. Okay, if you fucking touch me, I will lay my hands on you and I will cause you to have a bloody nose or a black eye, or I would just knock you the fuck out on the ground. Yes. So where are the different places that you can meet at? I always say meet in public where there's people. Like they're like, let's meet at a park. Nope. Sometimes there's not a lot of people at the park, depending on the time of year and everything else. That we're going to meet at the Universal Starbucks. There is a Starbucks everywhere in every single fucking city because that is a fucking organization / company that has one on every fucking corner. Okay, so we're going to meet at a fucking Starbucks where it is nice and open. If you don't like Starbucks because you said they're too damn expensive, I understand, but their fucking drinks are off the shit, man. Let me just tell you right now. If you want to meet at a coffee house, yes, we can. If you want to meet at a restaurant, we sure enough can do that. Actually, I like to eat, even though I don't look like I like to eat. I like to motherfucking eat. So we can meet at a restaurant. We can meet at a coffee house. I mean, motherfucker, we can meet at a library because there's people at a library, even though you're supposed to be quiet. But you can meet. I need you to meet somewhere that there are people at, so that if I need to make a scene and people can see me. So I like what I think it was. Oh, I forgot who said it. Either was Raven or Ravens fan, or it was Feet Tickler. When you're going to meet somebody, always make sure that you let somebody else know. They're like, are you telling me I'm supposed to tell my parents I'm meeting someone else? No, motherfucker. No, not like that. No, you are telling somebody that, like, hey, I'm going to go meet up someone for a blind date, or I'm going to meet up with somebody and I need for you to just know that I'm safe. I'm going to meet this person up for a blind date, or I'm meeting this individual for the first time. And I'm going to let you know my location and what this person looks like and everything else like that. And so, yeah, I have a person that I do that with. I have actually multiple people that I do that with. I have like two people. And if they don't hear from me, and I was like, if you don't hear from me from this time, like and within 15, 20 minutes, call the fucking police. You need that, because once again, you see what the fucking world that we fucking live in? I mean, like, once again, I live in the metro Atlanta area. Do you guys know that Atlanta is one of the highest places for sex trafficking? Motherfucker, I'm letting everyone ask know, like, I'm meeting one of you guys because I don't want to be put into sex trafficking. I mean, like, come on. And I don't know the other cities that are popular in that, but the city of Atlanta is one of the highest places where sex trafficking happens at, and kidnapping happens to men and women that and get put into the sex trafficking world. That is a thing now, y'all. If you guys don't think that fucking happens, wake the fuck up. And so people need to protect yourself. You need to protect yourself. And if the other person doesn't like that, well, actually, you don't have to really tell the other person. But if you want to tell them, which I don't know why you would, and they get angry about that, red flag, red flag, red flag on that. So I am a firm believer in that. And with that, I used to have, back in the day, I used to have my ex-boyfriend come, and he used to sit and like blend in with the crowd and whatever like that. Yeah, I used to have that done. I used to do that. yo, I'm going to protect myself. I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to protect myself. So that's another way that you can protect yourself. And when you have this meeting, even though you guys are already supposed to have like how you guys are going to play before you meet, but if you want to save it for meeting, you can. So, talk about how you want to have your session. And once again, if you guys already had that discussion and they start to have amnesia and they forgot a lot of the shit that you said, red fucking flag. If they all like started changing their minds or anything like that, they're like, if you say like, yeah, I'm going to agree to wear a bikini, and they're like, actually, I want you topless. What? That's not what we agreed to. Well, I want you topless. No, red flag. Say it was very nice meeting you. Get up and walk out. That's what you got to do, ladies and gentlemen. So let me see what else. I always see as another red flag is people that go like radio silent, and that don't really engage with you when they want to have a session. Like this one guy, he contacted me on Facebook and he lives in Stone Mountain and he wants to have a session with me, but he has not really engaged anything with me. Haven't had conversation, whatever like that. Red flag. I am most likely not going to have a session with him. And once again, I don't care if you're paying me. Like you guys literally think that some of us models, I guess, depending on the model you guys have been dealing with, think that money controls us. Money don't control me, y'all. Once again, this is not my number one job. My number one job is being a professor and an instructor. That is my number one job. That is what fucking paid the bills. That's how I got this fucking house. And I have gas and I have food in my refrigerator, and my son is taken care of and everything else like that. That is how I pay my bills. Y'all fucking sessions don't do anything except for, okay, maybe they pay for gas and maybe they have me my son's lunch money, but that's about it. And like it's not like, oh, you pay my mortgage on my house because I'm having sessions with you in custom videos. No. So I'm not controlled by your money. And a lot of models aren't either, but I guess the ones that you guys are fucking with and dealing with, they're controlled by money, and that's really not me. I'm not controlled by your money, nor will I let money control me like that I justify my morals and make myself unsafe and get possibly killed because of that. Not worth it. So let's recap. Number one, we're going to make sure that we get a picture or we FaceTime with that individual. Excuse me. We're going to make sure that that person give us their social media and everything else like that, so we can check it out. We're going to set boundaries with individuals. We're going to meet people before we have a fucking session. And then when you first meet people, you make the decision whether or not you want to have a session right after, or if you want to be touched or whatever you want to do. Me personally, I don't do that because once again, I want to see the self-control type of thing in an individual, because if you can control yourself, that is part of like, I'm having you tie me down and whatever like that. So no, or I'm tying you down. I need to, yeah, I just need to know if you have self-control over yourself. Sorry. Long day today. And also let people know, let at least one or two people know where you're going at and who you possibly be meeting and whatnot like that, so that you can make sure that you don't become and sold into the sex world and everything else like that. So, and also if people cannot respect your boundaries, if people go radio silent, people cannot have conversations, people cannot do any of these things that we just mentioned, then I would say run and disconnect from this conversation, because it's not going to work. That's what I would say. So I hope that and this will help out the minor situation, because if you are asking somebody to show their face and whatever like that, minors are not going to want to do that. They're not going to want to do that. And I like Ninja Tights 91 that says like, show me your ID as well. I think that is very, very smart. If you're meeting with somebody, like, let me see your ID. And if someone doesn't want to show your ID, I'm like, why you don't want to show me your ID? It's not like, I understand you're like, okay, it has my address, my personal information in it. But the person is checking to see if you are legal. Because once again, some of you motherfuckers I don't know what the fuck you guys are eating or drinking, but some of you guys do not look like a 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Well, 18, you can do this. You guys do not look like an adolescent person. I don't know what they're putting into the food, but some of you guys look actually grown. So that's the reason why I need to see ID. So yes. For me, if you're like me, that you don't want someone to play with someone that's like married or whatever like that, what I do to find out who someone is, I usually always look at their hand to see, is there like a mark to show where there used to be a wedding band? But I know that some people don't wear that. But I always go like, do you have kids? And how's the mother of your child and everything else like that? That's how I go into that. And I was like, so what does your girlfriend think about you playing? And then you motherfuckers always give it away like, oh, she's okay with this. And I was like, oh, so so you lied, because I told you that I don't play with people that have significant others. And so you guys always give it away. So I hope that this podcast was very helpful to help you do safety tips over the internet. And so what is our topic going to be for next week? So our topic going to be for next week, and I think this is going to be a really fun topic, is mouth tickles. Yes, y'all. How many of y'all use your mouth to drive somebody up the fucking wall? Or how many of you guys love it when someone uses their mouth? So yes, that's what we're going to talk about next week, is how many people like to use their mouth as a tool, and how effective is it? Oh, this is going to be so much fun because I love using my mouth for tickling. Tickling, not for anything else like that. Get your mind out the gutter. Okay, so I will see you guys next week. I hope you guys stay safe and you guys have happy tickles and you guys have a great one. Bye.